Good.
Well, welcome. This is another installment of Lexington Learns, and today I am talking to Steve Webb. He is the regional president for Southern New England and Upstate New York with TD Bank. And I'm very grateful that he has made some time to talk to us today about the whole PPP program and kind of how funding has helped small businesses through this crisis. The first thing I wanted to ask you, Steve, is can you give me an idea of the scope of the loan processing that TD went through in the last several months? I know that TD is one of the biggest lenders in the region consistently for small businesses. So how has this period compared to your usual year?
Significantly different, and that the volume was significantly greater than what would be happening in a typical year. So TD's number one SBA lender in terms of units in our footprint, Maine to Florida. And typically on an annual basis, we might do 3,000, 3,500 loans. And that's on an annual 12-month basis. However, if you look at what happened during the PPP stages, you know, we've looked at some 80,000+ loans. So if you do the math pretty quickly, you know it's between 25 and 30 times the annual volume in a very, very short window of time. And I might add that short window of time also came with a tremendous amount of stress on our borrowers and our small business customers who were in so need of the money that was out there for them. And so we really had to work hard to stand up a process from a technology perspective that worked and made it more efficient for our small business clients to get the money that they so needed. So a big project on our part to get it done, and couldn't have happened without the cooperation of our clients as well. So very proud of what we were able to accomplish in a very, very short period of time.
That's really an astonishing volume. 25 to 30 times your usual annual volume in just about 4 months. Is that right?
Yeah, and remember, Aaron, we were also doing this while everybody, including our customers, were working from home.
Right.
So imagine the difficulties in terms of getting the proper documentation, who had what, where, when, how do we get it into the system. So there were lots of things that we had to overcome and little hurdles that we managed to deal with, and our customers did as well. But it was a fabulous experience for us. We're very gratified that we were actually able to help so many clients out there. And one of the important things to also know about what our experience has been with PPP is that the average PPP loan size for us was slightly over $100,000. So I know there's been a lot of talk in some areas in the press where it was really reserved for big businesses. We didn't experience that at our shop at all. And really, we were very fortunate to be able to help as many small business owners as we were.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's really great. So PPP is wound down now, right? As of about a week ago or so. And
yes, the SBA has stopped accepting applications. That's true.
Yes. Okay. So, but there's still money left in the second round of funding, and if I am understanding it correctly, it's literally billions of dollars kind of left on the table. But the first round was gone in like 10 days. So what do you think the difference was between those two rounds?
Well, I think there was a lot of uncertainty on the part of the small business owners that were out there. One, uncertain as to whether they would qualify. The rules were kind of changing on the fly, and there was a lot of kind of information that I think confused a lot of folks as to whether they would qualify or not. The other thing relative to that is that we also had a large number of people who couldn't get their employees to come back to work. So they didn't want to extend themselves and take on a PPP loan if, in fact, it wasn't going to qualify for forgiveness. So that was a bit of a challenge as well. And so I think that that might have held back some of the businesses that were potentially out there in need of it.
Yeah, we definitely heard that from our members here in Lexington, that they wanted to get the money, but it was an 8-week window. Initially, it was an 8-week window to use it up. And that, yes, as you said, required hiring back the employees, but they couldn't actually open their stores. So what were they going to be paying the employees to do? And that was, I think that was just the way the legislation was written initially. And I think I agree. I think that kind of got corrected a bit in the second round. Was there any type of difference in the businesses that were applying between round one and round two?
No, we didn't see any real variation there. And I will say that the number and types of businesses were, they ran the gamut from almost any industry that would qualify. We certainly had applications for those. And clearly, I mean, I think it doesn't take a rocket scientist at this point to figure out that some of the most impacted businesses, whether they're restaurants or in the hospitality and entertainment business, those folks were really in need, and they were the hardest hit because clearly they couldn't reopen their doors. But a lot of activity in that space, in that segment of the industry, and hopefully those folks are going to be in a position to reopen when the time comes. And I know many of them have pivoted and actually begun and have been doing for a while now takeout service and some other ideas to kind of keep not only their employees busy, but also their brand open and still trying to operate. Very tough period for them.
Yeah, I get a lot of emails from AMC theaters reminding me that I can't come visit them, but they're still there. And they still want to keep my Stubbs membership.
It's so hard to receive those types of emails. It's really painful. The human side of this is just devastating.
Absolutely.
So tough.
Absolutely. And businesses are obviously still hurting, as we both know. What do you think you mentioned not being sure initially if they would have the loan forgiven or if they would even qualify, but what do you think held some businesses back from even taking advantage of PPP funding?
Well, I'll use my sister who runs a dance troupe in New York City as the example. And I know it's a small sample size, but she and her dance troupe didn't have a relationship with a bank. Although they carried their operating accounts at a particular bank, they really didn't have a relationship with anybody at the bank. So they didn't know who to turn to. They unfortunately didn't have, kind of that gateway in. And so for us, the way we really run our business is that we have assigned relationship managers to many of our clients, many of our small business clients. And so the hope is that we're in constant contact with them throughout the year, regardless of pandemic or not, and that they too are in contact with us. And that really helped, I think, from our perspective. It helped us generate not only the volume, but actually be able to get those through the process as quickly as we were. It's a challenge, though. If you didn't have a relationship with a bank, it's certainly a challenge, much more of a difficult challenge than if you did.
Absolutely. I agree, because we certainly heard that, again, from some of our members, that, Massachusetts was good about publishing lists of which banks were participating in which rounds and so forth. But yes, if you don't have that relationship with a bank to begin with, how do you choose which one? This is a pretty major way to start a relationship with a bank. It's a big undertaking for any business. So how do you pick the one that you're going to now commit to, $100,000 loan, like you said?
No, you're exactly right, Aaron.
What do you see happening next for business? Are you hopeful? Can you do a little bit of forecasting?
Oh boy, I'm not real good at forecasting, but I'll try. So take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, we won't hold you.
I'm very hopeful. One, I'm hopeful from a medical standpoint. I think that the amount of effort that's out there worldwide right now to try to come up with a vaccine leads me to believe that we'll have one, and we'll have one hopefully in the short term. And by that, I mean less than a year. And then hopefully we can get our population vaccinated. And certainly that'll go a long way to allowing us to get back to some sort of normalcy, whatever that means these days. And the other part in terms of being hopeful, I think that you and your folks should understand is that American businesses have historically adapted very well to whatever the scenario might be. And many famous people have said, don't bet against America. And I think this is one of those instances where I would not bet against America. I think that we've got many small business owners who are incredibly entrepreneurial in the way they operate and the way they think, many of whom have pivoted during this crisis and done some really interesting and innovative things to kind of keep their employees there, keep their business running, and to have a business when kind of we get out of this thing. So I'm hopeful because of that as well, and I just think that there's a tremendous amount intelligence out there, as well as ingenuity that's going to help us kind of kickstart and restart the economy when things get a little better from a health standpoint.
Yeah, I agree. We have seen that. That's in fact the reason this series is entitled Lexington Learns, is because I wanted to learn from the businesses that were pivoting. You know, I started in this role in April. So right in the middle of everything going on. And yes, it's a way for me to learn more about my member businesses, but it's also a way for all the businesses in town to learn about how each other is adapting to the crisis conditions and get ideas for that pivot, like you said. How are you pivoting how are you positioning yourself for, say through the end of the year to continue helping businesses?
Yeah, so for us, it's really been outreach, but in terms of the outreach, it's been much more virtual than anything else. We certainly want to protect our employees, but also want to protect our customers and other folks. So we've been very serious about the safety protocols and paying attention to those and adhering to those. So the vast majority of our outreach has been either digital or from WebEx or Zoom calls, whatever the case may be. But it's a continuous outreach. And I will tell you that we actually have a little bit more time in our day because we're not commuting right now, like many of us did for so long, and the commutes in and around Boston can be quite lengthy. So I think we've picked up a couple hours probably in our day that gives us an additional opportunity to make contact with our customers, see how things are going, see how we might be able to help them right now. Whatever their needs may be, we're going to try to identify whatever the product or service may be, or even sometimes we can connect them with other customers who may be having similar issues that they've been able to solve some of those problems. So we're happy to play matchmaker from time to time as well. But we're there to really be an advisor during this period of time, to be somebody they can lean on, and with the hope that we can provide whatever that service is they need.
I appreciate you saying that, because I have participated in dozens of webinars at this point with, state agencies, federal agencies, banks, the gamut. And what I've heard all along is they genuinely want to help people. They are truly trying they want you to make that phone call, like you said, and get in touch with them. They want to work with individual business owners on their specific situation and help them get through this. I have been a small business owner in the past myself, and I know some of the obstacles that keep you from picking up the phone or sending that email. A lot of times it is feeling, as you said, there's a human side to all of this. I think sometimes it feels like there isn't a human on the other end. You're afraid that you are going to be, dumped into a long call center queue or something like that. And so how can you or I, in the roles that we have, what do you think that we could do to bridge that gap for small business owners and help them understand that there really are humans on the other side who want to help?
Well, I think the biggest thing we can do is educate them through, series like this. Let them know that not only our bank, but other banks in the area are open for business. Our lifeblood is the local economy, and we recognize how important small business is to the overall economy. I mean, no matter what state you're in these days, it's a big number, whether it's 95 or 99% of what's going on in the economy. And in terms of, I think Massachusetts is probably closer to 98, 99% of small business. It's a big piece of what's out there. So we need to make sure people understand that, educate them on that, and then in fact, make it easy for them to get in touch with us, whether it's assigning those relationship managers, human beings, to those various small business owners, or whatever it may be, to leverage that local flavor to ensure that they know that we're here, whether it's talking to various CPAs or talking to lawyers that are out there that also may have relationships with these small business owners. And we just need to continue to get the word out that we're all open for business, and we're ready and able and willing to help where we can.
do you think that I've made an accurate characterization from what you've seen, you know, the SBA and the Mass Development Corp and Mass Growth Capital and the banks and so forth? I mean, do you think I'm reading the situation correctly, that yes, they genuinely want to help?
Oh, there's no question. It is genuine, it's legit, and it's very real. And you know, the agencies are in business to help as well. So I think, yeah, there's a concerted effort out there on the part of so many. I mean, we're all in this together, and the solution is not as simple as one or two sound bites. But I know that when we've worked together with other agencies and, you know, with other people in the community, we're able to come up with a great solution for our clients. So I hopefully that can continue as well.
That's excellent. Well, again, I want to thank you so much for giving us the time today and answering all of these questions. I know people will find it very helpful. And I hope you have a great weekend.
Erin, thank you so much for the time today. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.